Hey everybody, welcome back to My Practically Imperfect Life. Today's video is part of a Homeschool Show and Tell collaboration with Abby from Rooted in Rest and Jessica from the Waldock Way. This month's theme is This or That, where you get to know a little bit more about me as a homeschooling mom. So to give you a little more information on how the Homeschool Show and Tell series works, Abby from Rooted in Rest and Jessica from the Waldock Way put this together, and each month they give a homeschooling theme or homeschooling topic, and then they invite different creators to create videos around that topic and put them all together on a playlist. So you as the viewer get a chance to see how many different types of homeschooling families approach that particular topic. So there's lots of really great topics that they have for this upcoming year, and so I hope to keep participating in this Homeschool Show and Tell series. Today is a this or that video where they gave us a list of options, and we're just going to share what our preferences are this month or how we approach homeschooling. So if you see me glance down, it's simply because I have them all listed down on a notepad so I don't forget anything. So the first one is coffee or tea. This is a really easy one. I'm just going to show you a quick image of my coffee bar. And let me just say, so yes, I have an espresso maker and a milk frother and a Keurig. I also have a regular sized coffee pot. I have a whole bunch of coffee syrups. I have 4 pull-out drawers of coffee mugs that I collect. So yeah, coffee all the way. I think I worked night shifts for far too long, and coffee became my lifeblood. So yeah, I do have tea. There's a small drawer of tea, but that's mostly just for upset stomachs or when I can't sleep. Early bird or night owl? Ooh, night owl all the way. Again, I think this goes back to the fact that I worked night shifts for a really long time at several different jobs. And when I first became a nurse, I worked night shifts for the first couple of years. And once your body kind of gets on that rhythm, it's really hard to get out of it. So even though I'm pretty active, during the day now, I do find that I tend to kind of get a second wind around 11 or 12 p.m. And then I typically find myself up till 1 or 2. And that's just my body rhythm. I do still get up in the mornings, but I'm definitely not an early bird. It is a push when I have to get up early. Paper planner or digital planner? All right. Well, I really do love paper planning. I love paper planning. I bullet journal. So I have a bullet journal for tracking a lot of different things. I write out a paper to-do list. My cats are running around like psychopaths this morning. I write things in a paper planner for just every day. I have a paper teacher planner. That being said, my homeschooling lesson plans are digital, and that is simply to make it easier to make corrections, easier to move things, copy, paste, save stuff from one student to the next. But my preference would be paper planning. Plan ahead or plan from behind? Plan ahead. I plan ahead for everything. One method of homeschooling or eclectic? I think you'd probably call us eclectic. We definitely lean more towards a traditional homeschool where we have different subjects that the kids work on at different times. They do get to decide their schedule, what they want to work on when. And while we do kind of like a morning basket or group study time, we don't do that at a particular time of day. We typically come together after lunch and we get those group subjects done. I have tried to pull in things from different methods. We have done art studies and musician studies, which follow more like the Charlotte Mason method of things. But we definitely do lean more towards traditional, but I'm very open to lots of different ideas for homeschooling. And we've just tried different things over the years. And if they worked for us, we kept it. And if it didn't work, then we got rid of it. Homeschool hoarder or minimalist? Hoarder. I have a lot of things. But I do try to keep them organized. So does that count? It's okay. Crayons or markers? Not really either anymore. I have high school students, so we're not exactly doing, coloring pages and things like that. We have a lot of more advanced art supplies. So we have like the watercolor pencils. We have just some really beautiful colored pencils, soft pastels. We have acrylic paints and things like that. If I had to make a choice, I would say markers, but we've kind of outgrown those two particular. Whiteboard or chalkboard? I used to be a whiteboard person. I used to love whiteboards. Whiteboards are really handy to have to help my kids with math, though, so I can work out a problem next to them. But lately, I've really gotten into chalkboards. If you watch my homeschool room tour, you'll see like I have a little chalkboard, and every month, or not every month, every week, I erase it and I just kind of change the art that's on it. So it's not used so much for teaching, it's just meant for decorating, and I have just really enjoyed doing that. Games or puzzles? Personal preference, puzzles. I love a good puzzle. I think they're fun. We don't get too much into like the educational games, to be honest. And maybe it's because the kids are older and there's not really as many games that are geared towards their age group. Now, my son has been doing like Satera games. I think that's how you say it. They're online geography games that he does for his cultural geography class, and he does like those. He'll get on with no complaints and do those activities, and those are just really good for review. But right now, I think we're just kind of at that stage where like it's nice to get out just a puzzle and just work on it. But we usually don't like dedicate a space for a real long time. So as much as I like the big complicated puzzles, we just don't have anywhere to put it right now. Screens or no screens? My preference would be no screens, but I don't think that's really feasible, especially at the age that my kids are at. They do watch a couple of class videos online. So they have videos every day for both of their guest Hallow curriculum programs, usually just one or two videos, and they're fairly short. My daughter does the BJU distance learning for her history class, so she uses the screen for that. And then my son does his dive math online. Other than that, they're using them for typing up papers. Almost every paper they do now has to be typed because we want to learn that good skill there. And if you hear a lot of running around, okay, so my cat found a catnip toy, and he's going crazy with it. So, but anyways, my preference would be no screens if I could. At the very least, we try to limit others' screen time during the day. They are allowed to use their phones to play music. Both of them prefer to have their AirPods in and be listening to background music while they do schoolwork, and I'm okay with that as long as we're not getting distracted by anything else. And because we all have iPhones, I'm able to do a lot as far as screen time rules to make sure that they're not getting on things that they're not supposed to be during the school day. PJs all day or get dressed? I'm not a PJs all day person. I like comfort clothes all day. So I would much prefer to have a pair of like athletic leggings or yoga pants or jeans or something like that on. I do a lot of gardening, and so typically I'm bouncing in and out of the house at different points in the day, checking on things, watering things, and just trying to enjoy the outdoors. Plus, I'm typically working on several different things at a time, and I want to be comfortable. So I don't necessarily get dressed up. Like, this is video dress up. This is not everyday dress up for me. I'm definitely more of a jeans and t-shirt person, but I do like to have something on. Read out loud or independent reading? At this stage, we mostly do independent reading. The kids have novels they have to read and different kinds of assignments they have to read. I do continue to do a read out loud with them, but I just do a chapter or two a day as part of our group study. We all just have such different preferences in what we read, and it is nice for everyone to be able to just grab a book that they enjoy and go off and read. And we have so many comfortable spaces in the house now, whether it's some of the outdoor furniture or the chairs we have down in the basement or our couches or even in our own bedrooms. It's just nice to kind of be able to go off and relax and do some reading on your own. Classic or modern literature? I do like classics. I mean, I think they need to be a part of their education. And by classics, I mean things like the Odyssey, the Iliad, Pride and Prejudice, Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet, The Count of Monte Cristo. I mean, like all of those books that you really should read at least once in your lifetime. But I also look at things that would probably be considered more modern literature, and I feel like they are classics. Like, you should read them. You know, when they were younger, I was like, you have to read The Hatchet and The Giver. I mean, those are fantastic books that should be in our repertoire. We're going to be reading Flowers for Algernon this year. we read Of Mice and Men last year, and like those are considered more modern literature, but to me they're classics in that they have themes that will resonate through time, and they're good for kids to read. So I guess modern literature. Science or history? Oh, this is hard. All right. So I went to college. First time I went to college, I went for biology and chemistry. And then I had a career change and I went back for nursing. So obviously, I'm very science minded. All of my degrees are in science fields or healthcare fields. So I do love science. I do love science. I like teaching science. But history is just so much more fun to teach because you can really bring it alive in a lot of different ways, whether that's through books or documentaries and movies and field trips and things like that. I mean, I suppose you could do that with science, but I think maybe because I've done so much that's science oriented in my life already, and I'm a nurse, so science is kind of a part of healthcare. I think maybe I enjoy history because it's just something so different from what I do for work. Art or music? Oh, art. I love art. I love art. So my brother is the talented artist in the family. I'll see if I can find a picture of some things he's done and just show you there. He's amazing, like absolutely amazing. And I always joke I got like a fraction of the talent he did. I can draw some things and I can paint and create different things, but I am nowhere near what he can do. My daughter definitely has a natural talent for it. Sometimes she'll just sit down and she will just create the prettiest little things. She's made handmade cards. She painted, I'll show you a picture of it here. She painted this beautiful little flower painting for me for Mother's Day, I believe it was like 2 years ago. I have works that she's done just kind of posted all over the place. She just kind of gets into these moods and she'll create art. And I wish I could get my son into art, but it's definitely just not his thing. He's definitely more of the music person. But personal preference for me would be to teach art. Nature study or poetry tea time? Oh, nature study. Get us outdoors. Get us outdoors. Hiking and camping and checking things out, even just going out in our own garden. I would prefer to be out in nature any day. I find poetry okay. I will read it and everything. My kids, they've never liked poetry. Maybe it's just because we're all so literal minded that interpreting poetry just doesn't come naturally to any of us. But they've just never really gotten into it. And I have tried daily poetry readings. I've tried different poetry studies, and the love for it just never caught on with them. And I think that's probably because like the love for it was never like there for me either. So it's really hard to get someone to love something that you yourself are like, yeah, you should love this, but I don't love this. Whereas nature study, love being outdoors, definitely would be the preference. Lunch with kids or lunch alone? Lunch alone. Give me a break. We all kind of break for lunch at different times. My daughter is a very early riser, and so she typically is up and then wants to eat at a different time than my son, who is a 14-year-old boy, so he wants to eat every hour. He's just always hungry, but he's growing like a weed, so there's that. And then usually I will break somewhere around noonish and just take a moment, catch up on emails or whatnot, and then a cup of coffee if I need it, and a light lunch. So school at the table or school around the house? Probably more school around the house. Like I said, we have a homeschool room. The kids have their desks down there. We do have a table that we gather around when we do our group studies. So when we do like our German and Bible study and things like that. However, the kids have the freedom to work at their desks. They can work at that table. They can work at the chairs in the basement. They can work at the kitchen table. We have like a bar stool seating in the kitchen. They can sit there. They can sit on the couches. I try not to have them do their schoolwork in their room just because there's so many other distractions there. They can do it if they need to, but typically it's if they have to do like a paper or something like that, and they need some extra time to work on it, they can take one of the laptops in there and work on that. Summers off are year round. We are a summers off family. We usually start somewhere in early August, and we try to get done as early in May as possible. We don't take a whole lot of breaks during the winter months. We live in Indiana. The weather kind of just sucks in the winter. So we don't take a lot of time off in the winter. My kids both golf, and they golf competitively, so they need to be able to be out on the golf course as early in the spring as possible and have as much time out there to get ready for tournaments. So we take the whole summer off. We do a lot of camping. Some of my son goes to summer camp. My daughter and I take camping trips with our troop. We also have lots of tournaments out of town and things like that, and we just kind of prefer to enjoy that time. Also, because I'm such a big gardener, summer is obviously my busy time with gardening, and so I am outside usually a good 2-3 hours a day working on something related to the garden. All right, last question is mummify a chicken or dissect a frog? All right, well, we've never mummified a chicken, but we have done dissections. We did dissections back in middle school when we were taking a middle school health class. I got like a sheep heart and lungs for them to be able to learn about the heart and lungs. And then for my daughter's biology class last year, we dissected a crawfish, a perch, a frog, and it had a worm. I think those were the 4 things. I feel like there was a 5th thing, and I'm forgetting what it is. But my son will also do those this spring when he gets to those chapters of his biology class. I like it because I did dissections in high school, and so I'm familiar with it, and can kind of walk them through all of the steps, and that sort of thing doesn't gross me out or anything like that. I'm a nurse, seen it all. So, all right, guys, that's it for today's homeschool show and tell video. Hopefully you enjoyed learning just a little bit more about me and my thoughts on things related to homeschooling. I do encourage you to check out the link to the playlist. It's down below in the description box. Every month, Abby from Rudin and Russ and Jessica from the Waldock Way give us a new topic to create videos about. And if you go down to that playlist, you'll see videos posted by lots of different content creators around that homeschool topic. This way you can find out different types of input from lots of different homeschooling moms, people with different ages of kids, different homeschooling styles, different sizes of families in different parts of the country. And it's just a great way to see that there's no one way to homeschool. And you can take bits and pieces from lots of different people and ultimately find out what works best for you in your homeschool. Well, that's it for today, everybody. I hope you have a great one, and we will see you in the next video.